Hey, it's Kaufman is Alive. Today I'm going to be talking about who could John Cena's final opponent be in his last match. John Cena has already announced that this will be his final year wrestling before he retires. And his final match will be in December on a Saturday night's main event live on Peacock. So who could John Cena's final opponent be in his final match? I'm here to talk about it, give you all my predictions. First name I want to throw out there is a guy who just came back and attacked John Cena at the end of SummerSlam, and we may have already seen the build to John Cena's last match without even realizing it, and that's Brock Lesnar. Now this could make a lot of sense for a few reasons. One, Cena and Lesnar both came up together. Their rookie year was both the same year. They've had a lot of history together. This could make a lot of sense. As well as the fact that John Cena essentially turned his back on the final boss, The Rock, and Travis Scott. Is that guy ever coming back? But John Cena essentially turned his back on both of them in his match against Cody Rhodes, where he was attacked by Brock Lesnar after the match. And I posted in a previous video that perhaps Brock Lesnar could be the hired gun for The Rock to take out John Cena. And what better way to do that than in John Cena's final match at Saturday night's main event? That leads me to another person who could be John Cena's final match, and that's The Rock. Now, I personally don't think that this is going to happen. I don't see The Rock coming back for another match against John Cena this year. However, that would make a lot of sense, and I would like to see John Cena and The Rock have one more match before Cena retires, because John Cena and The Rock both have wins against each other, and they've never had the rubber match. They've had 2 WrestleMania matches, and it's probably John Cena's most box office feud. So I would like to see those two have one final match. Do I see The Rock wrestling on Saturday night's main event on Peacock though? I really don't. Another name that could be kind of a long shot, but a match that I personally would like to see is AJ Styles. Cena and Styles had a great rivalry in WWE. And I know Cena holds a lot of respect for AJ Styles, and Styles could use something like this in his career at this point. I feel like he's been floundering the past few years in WWE. John Cena's final match, that's something that AJ Styles could always hang his hat on. So I think that would be a great match too. I think AJ Styles could get a great last match out of John Cena. Another name that we could throw out there is Kevin Owens. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens has been injured, and it doesn't look like he's going to be back anytime soon. But Kevin Owens really made his name in WWE, coming out of NXT and Ring of Honor onto the main roster against John Cena. And I think that would be a great match, and I know those two have a lot of respect for each other as well. There is another guy who's had a storied history with John Cena and is also a current world heavyweight champion, and that's Seth Rollins. You could even do the inverse last real world champion storyline with John Cena trying to take Seth Rollins' world title from him as a babyface and retiring with that world heavyweight title that Seth Rollins holds, that Seth Rollins declares as his world heavyweight title, and he was the first champion as well. So if John Cena could beat Seth Rollins in that final match and retire as the last world heavyweight champion, that could be a great storyline. Even if Cena loses, it would be a pretty intense build-up. And that's something I would like to see. There is one guy who I feel like could face John Cena who hasn't faced him yet. Everyone who I've mentioned so far, they've all had storied rivalries and matches with John Cena. But that one guy who hasn't yet, who I really feel like could get the rub off of that last match with John Cena and retiring him, could be Gunther. Could we see a new up-and-coming superstar get that match against John Cena, like Carmelo Hayes, perhaps Javon Evans, maybe Trick Williams? I'd like to see any of those guys get a shot at John Cena for his last match. And I think it's possible. It just depends on who WWE is going to choose and whoever they think is ready for that spot, because you know it's going to be a coveted spot. There's probably an entire roster of guys who want that last match with John Cena. That would be huge. Are there some guys from AEW or other promotions that could possibly wrestle John Cena in his last match? I think that's a long shot, but there are a few names I would like to see wrestle John Cena before he retired. I don't think they'd be able to get out of their contracts, I'm talking about Samoa Joe, Kenny Omega, even perhaps I'd like to see Sting wrestle John Cena in one last match. I don't think any of this stuff is possible or could even happen. I know one of John Cena's childhood wrestling heroes was Sting. I'm sure he would personally love to have a match against Sting, although a 50-year-old John Cena versus 65-year-old Sting doesn't sound like it'd be that great of a match, although I'm sure there could be lots of smoke and mirrors. It would be interesting. Could there be another Hall of Fame WWE superstar that could come out of retirement to face John Cena? Perhaps Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's never officially retired. He had a match against Kevin Owens a couple years ago. We could possibly see Stone Cold Steve Austin versus John Cena, a match we've never gotten before. There's so many possibilities. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who will John Cena face in his final match? Thanks again for watching, and go watch wrestling.